And we are back. I'm now going to immediately pass you over to the amazing Mouse Was Taken.
So, hey y'all, if you're new here, you just tuned in, I am Mouse, aka Mouse Was Taken. I don't have a fancy story like Paige does. My name was just taken. I go by she, they pronouns. I am gender fluid because in this economy, I cannot afford to have a gender. I am asexual, panromantic. I don't make decisions, so I just take everyone. Everyone and no one at the same time. The only way I can talk about myself is to make jokes about it. Okay, this is how I survive. I'm trying to think of 3 new facts that I haven't already said. I don't have any more interesting facts about me, so let's just say I make origami mice. I learned origami just to make mice for my subscribers. It's the only thing I know how to make. I love Stitch, if you couldn't tell by all of the stitches around me. That one has my name stitched on its ear. It's fucking adorable. And my partner calls me Moogle, which is why I have a little Moogle light and a little Moogle behind me when I've never played Final Fantasy yet.
That's adorable.
So there's 3 facts about me. We're going to kick it off with my wonderful co-host, Paige.
Hello.
So, Paige, tell us about yourself, your name, your pronouns, and some facts about you.
Hello. Well, my name is
And why
Paige.
you're here today.
And why I'm here. Bloody hell, how much more do you want? Honestly.
Your entire life story.
All right, so I was born in 1994, and no, that's boring. Right, hello, my name is Paige, or Artemis, whichever you prefer. The name is a mixture of arthritis, which I have, and Greek mythology, which I love. I am usually the host, but I have the amazing Mouse Was Taken helping me out today, because it's a 10-hour extravaganza, and I would die otherwise. So, let's think, why am I here today? I'm here today, I started the series because I wanted to be able to give a voice to marginalised communities because Twitch doesn't always make it easy to find each other, and also not everyone on Twitch, not every marginalised person is on Twitch, and we've actually opened up the stream today to people who don't actually stream. We have some students coming to join us and that kind of thing to share their stories, and what I wanted to do was use some of my prior experience as a CM in the games industry to basically help community manage for marginalised communities and help spread information and give people a platform and a place to come and speak, really.
Okay, and give us 3 fun facts about yourself.
3 fun facts about me. I have 18 tattoos, all of which I have designed myself. So I have assorted things like on here, this is a cat around the world piece. I have Sherlock and Watson on both of my wrists. I have a giant bloody head wig, Mass Effects. I have both legs from knee to hip tattooed, which are both designs of mine as well, but I can't show. I'll get told off on the internet. So lots and lots and lots of tattoos. I am a singer and have won competitions for performance, which is pretty fun. And one of the point redemptions we have on the channel, and usually for charity, is singing things. And I am a first aider and mental health first aider, and I've worked with 2 car crashes. Yeah.
That is fun. I actually have like 20 tattoos as well.
Excellent.
Most of which I designed myself. Okay, so do you have anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
Just that my cat is being very inappropriate.
Introduce the cat, because some people may not know the cat yet.
This is Io. She is evil. No, okay. I don't know. Excuse me. Do you mind? I'm not sure what's on with her today. Normally she's very quiet and very sleepy, but she's been tumbling around the back of the room and just screaming, so no idea. But yes, this is Io. She's beautiful. She is a British blue short hair crossed with Bengal, which explains why she's nuts. And Ty is probably walking around the background somewhere. He is just a black mongrel cat. He's known for screaming constantly and destroying straws. It
All
will.
right then. So next up we have Sapphire, aka Frameshift Shark. Tell us a bit
Hello.
about yourself, your name, your pronouns, and why you're here.
Yeah, I'm Sapphire. A lot of people just call me Saph for short. Um, my pronouns are she, they. Uh, I'm mostly here just to tell, like, my story about how I kind of discovered who I was and, like, my identity and stuff, because I'm a closeted trans woman, so it's sometimes a tough topic to talk about because a lot of people I know and friends and stuff are kind of out there and about, but I'm not in a position with friends off like family that are close to me that know who I am, and I'm not really in a position to come out as such. So I'm kind of here to just talk about what it's like to not be out in the public eye, I guess.
All right, and give us 3 fun facts about yourself.
Ooh. 2 weeks ago, I started my job in the game industry for the first time, and I work QA at Frontier, and I have never been so excited in my life. I have like day one, I have just been buzzing. It's so much fun, like actually being in the industry and learning from so many other cool people. It's just really good. I'm really excited.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, I didn't expect to get this
Congratulations
far,
on that.
honestly. Yeah,
Yeah. Congratulations, Saf.
thanks. Um, Yeah, another thing I really love, like passionate about, is space flight. Like as a topic, it interests me a lot, and there's so much cool and weird stuff, like technology and innovations. It's just really inspiring. That's something that keeps me going on a daily basis. Uh, ooh, I didn't come prepared for this one. Yeah, I can't think of anything at the moment. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Do you have anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
No, I think that's it. Don't want to waste too much time. I could talk for days.
Okay, next up we have EBX Aaron. Tell us your name, your pronouns, and what you're doing here today.
Hey, so my name is Erin. A little bit background of what the EBX in my name is. It's actually my band. So I'm a part of a band called Elsie Binks, an original rock band, and it's EBX is for short, how we refer to it. So that's kind of been my social media identity for about 5 or so years now. So when I came to Twitch, it was just kind of default brain. Everything else is EBX Erin. So that just became what it was going to be. But I get constantly asked, what is an EBX? It's my band, Elsie Binks. Elsie like the cow, Binks like the cat. Uh, I my pronouns are she, her. I was gonna say I've been listening to the stream lurking Schmirka lurking all morning, and I think I settled on my intro, which is I was a wedding professional and songwriter turned pandemic streamer, singer songwriter, and it's I'm here because I think Paige, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm here because I think you found me because I'm doing a whole month of endometriosis awareness. So I think yeah, okay. So I've been tweeting every single day about endometriosis. It's an autoimmune disease that I suffer from. And I am also a member of the LGBT community. I identify as pansexual. I am currently in a relationship with a person who identifies as a cisgender but also queer lesbian. And so it's a whole lot for the little Twitch bio, but that is why I'm here. I like to spread awareness. That's a big part of what Twitch has become for me. I love doing charity. I've been on Twitch for approximately 11 months, and I've already done like I don't know. I've already done at least 4 or 5 charity streams, and I've been doing endometriosis awareness and charity all month of March because that is what this month is for me. So yeah, I'm here to spread awareness and spread love.
That's awesome. So give us 3 fun facts about yourself.
Okay, so my partner, who is Trish, she's probably in the up. Yep, she's Vladia Moore in the chat. There's my partner, Trish. I knew she'd be as soon as she saw that I started talking. So we've been working on this all morning, right? Because I'm like, what the fuck do I say? Um, so we decided that 3 interesting facts about me. I have a bachelor's of science in electronic media, radio, engineering, stuff like that, as well as journalism. I'm in love with drag culture. I've been paying attention to the drag scene since it became more of a mainstream thing, if y'all know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And I'm in love with it. It's taught me everything I know about makeup and a lot about performance as well. And the last thing is that me and Trish kind of have decided we're like, our kitchen is basically an episode of Chopped. If anybody is hip to that show called Chopped, we both have extremely weird digestion issues. So we're constantly in our kitchen, like we have this, and this. What can we make of it? So genuinely enjoy cooking and figuring out how to make things non-dairy, gluten-free, soy-free, blah 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 blah, all the things. But yeah, so we basically should have a streaming show of just Chopped, but but, but here we are. I'm a music streamer, so that's my thing.
Love it. Do you have anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
I think I covered a lot, so I'm gonna pass it. I'm gonna pass it for now, but thank you.
All right, and next up we have Secret Agent Steve. Give us your name, your pronouns, and then why you're here today.
Hello. Okay, so my name is Steve or Steven, or the Secret Agent Steve, I suppose, if you know me online. My pronouns are he, him, and I am here today because I think it's really important to kind of share with people, your own unique lived experience, and I think that there's a lot of value in that, and I'm really happy to do that and to also be a part of be a part of that and listen to other people and kind of just be involved with this. It's great. I love it. I suppose move to 3 fun facts from there.
Yeah, tell us 3 fun
Okay.
facts about yourself.
I too love cooking a lot. However, my partner, she does not. Well, I mean, like, it's not that she doesn't like cooking. No, maybe it is. It's kind of a chore for her. So I spend a lot of time alone in the kitchen, or getting her to help reluctantly. I had other things prepared. Wait for it. Oh yeah, gosh, I'm getting married next year. That was the other one I wanted to mention,
Oh,
which is super exciting and
congratulations.
fun and just weird to plan in COVID. And then the third fact I have is I drink a lot of milk, like a lot of milk. Like I'm talking, so like, a gallon or a 4-liter jug, probably go through that in like 3 days. But anyways, those are my fun facts.
Okay, that last one scares me a little bit.
Well, it could. Also, I guess perhaps a little bit more about myself. I'm also pan, and that's something that I've recently sort of reconciled with myself. I came out a couple of years ago at 27 as bi, and I am a moderator in a couple of different LGBTQ plus streams.
That's awesome. Next up we have, is it Cravita? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, it can just be Cray. It's fine.
Okay, so tell us
Which
your name,
usually
your
I go by.
pronouns.
Yeah. I'm Cray,
and
so I'm she, her. And a little bit about me, I'm a variety streamer. I mostly focus on RPGs and story-heavy games because that's where my heart lies. And I come from a little country called Latvia, which probably most people don't know. And I currently live in the Netherlands. Also, due to the fact that socially for LGBT, it's a much better and healthier place to be. And I hope to find like a place, especially with politically what's going on there. I hope to find like my footing and my resources so I can go back there and get the community out of the dip that it is in right now, because they're really struggling. There's a lot of hate going on, especially because today on the news I read other stuff, so it was very touching. And yeah.
Okay, and do you want to tell us 3 fun facts about yourself?
3 fun facts. Well, I was a guitarist and a heavy metal singer in a band, which means growler. I say singer sometimes, but yeah, growler. I was recruited into the national women's football team, but I lost that spot due to sexism. And my puns are so on fire that my that the people I live with sometimes throw things at me.
Okay,
And my
I love that
roommate just
last
went,
one.
yeah.
I'm hoping we get to experience some. I'm hoping.
Okay,
No, it comes naturally. It comes naturally.
And
I can't on
last
spot. I
up-
always, yeah.
Last up, we have the Gothic Queen of Twitch, Dracthonia. However, I have spotted a cat in the background, so I think you need to introduce the cat first.
That is
I
a
mean,
rule.
Priorities.
really, Strigger is the star of every stream that she's ever on. So no one actually comes to see me. They just come for Strigger. Damn, that was going to be one of my facts, but okay. Hi, I'm Dracthonia, aka the Bat Queen of Twitch. I am lewd, crude, and a variety streamer from the UK. I am pan by Demiflux, and I have a whole shebang of chronic illnesses, all sorts of fun stuff, including chronic pain, which I'm currently experiencing right now. So that's going to be fun. I can't remember what I was going to say. Yes. Oh, I am also co-host to our podcast with Arthremus of Through Our Eyes, which we host every 2 weeks on my channel. Next one's on the 1st of April if you want to join us.
And that's not a joke.
Yeah. 3 facts, I guess. I am a leather worker. So I sell leather goods on Etsy. I have a PhD in genetics. And haven't used it since.
I feel that. I feel that so hard.
Right. And I don't know. As I said, Strigger was going to be my my third one, but you stole that one. So I have a sigh. If you want to see a sigh.
I mean, now that you've mentioned it, I kind of do.
I mean, he's got lovely, luscious locks. So you know. Sigh, do you want to come show your face? Yeah.
Hi, Sai.
There's a sigh. There you go. There's a Strigger and a sigh.
Also, my brain fog has just made me realize that I've completely missed an entire question for everyone. Where can everyone find you?
Well,
And everyone else can tell where you can find them too.
Don't you worry, what I can do is actually field that one myself for everybody, because if you type in !multi in the chat, you will find links to everybody. The only person you won't find links to is Secret Agent Steve, but their Twitter is being posted in the chat as well by our moderators so that you can go over there. And I will say, I wanted to say it earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt. Stephen, your voice is fantastic. You have a wonderful
Agreed.
voice.
You know. Just a little thing.
It's all right, I'll back out now.
All right, so if we start at the top and just work down left to right. So let's go with, how do you deal with sexism, homophobia, transphobia, anything like that while you're streaming? Let's start with Paige.
So, while I'm streaming, we kind of covered it in the last panel a little bit as well. It can be particularly difficult. When I first started out, things got to me quite a lot and my emotions show on my face. I'd be like, yeah, and then just sort of dead eye everyone, and that's not very friendly. So it's something I sort of had to learn to realise, is this actually making me upset, or am I sort of shocked by it? And to take a moment to step back, but also realise, if you are streaming or you are in the public eye, it is okay to be honest. You don't have to have a facade or a face on constantly to be protecting other people, because all you're protecting them from is you being a human and somebody else's practically wrong assessment of you. So essentially it took a little bit of time to figure out how I felt about things. So I think honesty is the first way that I deal with it. In terms of what I actually do about those people is try and decide whether they're coming from one or two places. So one place is a place of ignorance and not entirely sure, you know, they might come and say something and it'd be like, that's rude, but I don't know, are you trying to be a dick or are you not sure? And actually, Kravita saying about Latvia, one of the viewers I had was from Latvia, and they were talking about, they were like, I've got some questions, but they're going to be rude because I can't talk to anyone in person about this. And I was like, okay, I appreciate you've said that up front because now I'm not going to, you know, be like, just get out of here. And we actually ended up having some conversations, and that person actually was like, oh, thank you. I've you know, I'm still not going to talk about this publicly, but I've learned some things, and I'm willing to keep listening. And I was like, that means a hell of a lot, especially when people are willing to seek out information in a place that may not be a safe place for them to do so. If it turns out they are just a troll, at that point, it's not usually for my sake. It's usually for the community's sake, because it's pretty much like water off a duck's back. Someone comes in like, you're fat and a pansexual idiot. And I'm like, okay, that's fine by me. But somebody else in the chat's going to see that, and they're not going to be as cool with it as I am. And they're going to be hurt by it. And I don't want them to be hurt by it. So it very much comes down to having moderators who know what your response to things will be and allowing them to act as your right hand and work with you. And so I know very much that if somebody says something, my mods immediately yeet it, then that's exactly the response that I would have wanted to have. So it's kind of delegating it for your own mental health, and just so you don't have to deal with it. Sometimes there's times to educate, and sometimes there's no point wasting your energy on a void.
Yeah, you want to keep your community safe, but also you need to look after yourself as well. You can't always educate people. And some people don't want to be educated.
Yes, very much so.
So let's move on to Cray. How do you handle it?
Well, it depends how they appear. If they just appear with words where the whole sentence can be bleeped out, then, well, the boot. But I've had interesting conversations with people when it comes to stereotypes, how they label people, marginalized people, with stereotypes. And I always ask them, why? I always ask, okay, if you wouldn't go through this, if you went through this, how would you react? How would you behave? What would your attitude be? I always ask them the question. I try to put them in that marginalized group shoes. I've had like racist stereotypes or other homophobic stereotypes, but I always, I try to ask them questions. And if they again go into the bleep way that you can bleep them out, then yeah, that's just trolling. But I've had conversations where the person goes like, actually, yeah, or they just literally say, actually, yeah. That there's a point, and that kind of feels like, because I mean, I've had stereotypes about people. I mean, everybody has had stereotypes about somebody. We learn sooner rather than later, right? And the best thing is to be confronted with the opposite of that stereotype. And if sometimes you make people think, then yeah, it's good. But it's just, yeah, it also depends how much you tolerate, of course. It depends how much you tolerate. Like putting up the LGBT tag on Twitch has put a target on my back, receiving messages, very hateful messages. But I've also have received people that just stop by and are happy to go through the tag and find people. Like, what was it, like a few days ago, somebody just was like, came out as trans, but they can't transform, excuse me, transition yet. English is not my first language, I'm sorry. But and I was really happy that they just came in and shared that with me, because I mean, it's good that they can have spaces like that. But yeah, as when it comes to moderation and content creation, you always have to kind of tolerate that target on your back a little bit. But like my mods and most people in my community know where I stand, because pretty blunt and sometimes harsh, and they just know where I stand, and they know what's not okay. And thankfully, I'm surrounded by people where if somebody says something bad, instead of me going to fight them first, somebody already is fighting them. Even like from my cis straight friends, they're already like they're ready to just go full out, even if it's not against me. If it's other LGBT people or other race people, they're already up in arms and they're going to confront that person. And just I'm lucky to have been surrounded by that. This is basically people who moderate themselves in a way. And
Yeah,
that's
a good support system, a good moderation system, I think we can all agree is probably one of the best things that we can have. Do you have anything else you want to say on the matter, Cray?
No, I don't think so.
So, Saf
Hey.
is no. Drac
Me.
is next. I'm looking. I have it minimized so that I can see the questions as well.
For me, it's entirely dependent on what's being said. If it's targeted towards me, then often I will deal with it in a way that is trolling the troll often, which usually gets them to take a step back and go, oh, wait a second. They're not going to react to what I've said, which usually sparks conversation in the community, and also often the trolls either leave or they get into the conversation and stick around and actually start to educate themselves. If it's aimed to anyone in my community or generalized, depending on degree, if it's someone's using an inappropriate word that they're not aware is inappropriate, then obviously that's a warning. But otherwise, it's a GTFO, because I'm sorry, I ain't having any of that. If it's my community, I'm like Mama Bird. I will attack. No one's gonna be mean to my community. And I've found really that the thing that's actually helped reduce it is actually using the LGBTQIA tag and also having it very openly in my panels. Since then, I have not actually had as much as I had prior to that. I've had people who want to come in and have conversations and find like-minded people, not trolls trying to target me through that. So it's actually helped. But yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So, Aaron, I think is Aaron. Do you want to tell us how you deal with it?
So, like everybody, obviously, there's like different levels of troll, right? Like, there's like the idiots that come in and you're like, oh, my mods deleted that before I even saw you. Okay, goodbye. Like, I think Paige said, water off his duck's back, is very, very that. Just, I don't give a shit. I'm kind of used to it. I'm used to it now in Streamland, but I was a performer for a decade before the pandemic hit, professionally. So I'm used to trolls in real life, which is a whole other level of fuck you. And so keyboard warriors was generally a newer thing to me when I started streaming about a year ago. So it's taken me, I will admit, it used to I was always shooketh. Like, get the fuck out of my chat. Like, I was always shooketh. I feel like it took me a solid 6 months to learn, like, people are shit and there are going to be trolls. And luckily, you know, I have my partner Trish, who is literally, she's like a co-host on my channel. She literally has a mic. She sits here at my desk with me when I stream music, and she's literally, I call her my partner in crime, partner in life, partner on Twitch. And so she's like my IRL mod. She's literally usually sitting next to me and taking care of it in the chat as well. But my favorite thing, which is sarcasm is when somebody comes in. I'm very cisgender presenting because that's who I am. And so I get a lot of people coming in like, oh my God, you date girls? Like, get the fuck over yourself. Leave. Leave. And then Trish will literally put her face in camera and be like, hi, yeah, it's me. And so that's my favorite part, honestly, is being able to be like, this is my human and get the fuck out of my chat. And I hope it sometimes I hope in my heart that stops that person from maybe doing it again. That's just me being wishful, I think. I don't think it stops trolls at any point from doing that. But I think oh yeah, Chris Cross in the chat. Somebody asked me if they could pay me to see my feet. And for a moment I was like, I'm broke as fuck. And then Trish was like, get the fuck out of here. Oh, that was ridiculous. That's probably one of the most amazing things to ever happen. And the fact that I considered it for a moment. But on a more serious note, and I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, is that I had a partner come into my stream who was restreaming me, who wanted to rap with me through Discord. And it scared the fucking shit out of me. It took me songs to not feel shooketh, and I still didn't feel okay after it. And even just talking about it, I kind of am getting a flop sweat. But I don't know how often gamers or frankly, any other category of streamers experience this. But as a music streamer, I have people come into my chat all the time saying, let me rap with you. And I'm like, get the fuck out. Do you know how real time works with latency? Get the fuck out of here. Are you an idiot? Like, so there's so many things, but like I had a partner come into my stream, restreaming me without my permission, and came in asking if they could do freestyle. And I'm like, well, this is a partner. Maybe I should like consider this. What's going on? And Trish, in the meantime, had it open on her computer, like, dude, this is not okay. And she's trying to communicate with me on screen. Like, and I'm like realizing how not okay this is. And I don't know if this is under the category of trolling or not, but that was probably the single most unsafe I've ever felt. And when I finally put my foot down and said, "I'm sorry," I was trying to be polite. This is a partner. Like, this isn't just some unnamed human who's trying to be an asshole. This is a partner who's clearly worked for their position here. And I was like, I'm really sorry, but this isn't cool. And then come to find out, once they moved on from me, they were calling me fat and ugly in their chat in French. I believe it was a French streamer, I believe. And we did report it, and Twitch didn't get back to us because here we are. But we did report it, and even just talking about it right now, to be completely honest, makes me feel sick to my stomach. I've never felt more unsafe. And these things are unacceptable. And I still don't know how to deal with that particular situation. It was terrifying. I've never felt more unsafe in my own fucking home. It's disgusting. So just to be on the lookout if that ever happens to anybody. That was terrifying. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. It felt gross. I know EBX Jen, one of my bandmates in the chat, also has had this happen. And she ended her stream immediately, and there was nothing you can do. There's just nothing you can do. You're at the mercy of your emotions, unfortunately. And it did take me a long time to shake the feeling of just utter disgust and violation. And I'm still learning how to deal with that. If anybody has any tips on how to deal with that, that'd be great. Luckily it hasn't happened again, but just trolls. If there are any trolls in the chat, fuck you.
Oh, don't worry.
I wish I could give you tips on how to deal with it. But I haven't quite gotten that far in therapy yet.
No. I will jump in quickly and just say, sorry, Mouse, I would say let you do it, but it's just because it's a command in mine. And for the people on the panel as well, if anything you're talking about is actually making you uncomfy and you need to take a break for a minute, that is perfectly acceptable. No one's going to think worse of you or be like, oh, really? It's unprofessional. Fuck off. No, if you need to take a break for a minute or something has triggered you and you really need to take a breather, that is absolutely fine. Please do it. Same for everyone in the chat. One of my mods has just posted in the command we have, which is ! I need help. It takes you to checkpointorg.com, which is a website which gives you free resources for the entire world for mental health crisis support. So if anything that we're talking about really upsets you and you need to speak to somebody, you have got that there, because obviously none of us are therapists, and we're talking about things that we've experienced as well. So we can't help in the chat, but do go over there. You'll be able to find via text, video, web chat, drop in, email. There's so many ways that you'll be able to get in touch with somebody pretty much in whatever country you are in. There will be a free line there. So yes, I'll back out for a moment, but yeah, if you are uncomfortable, take a minute.
And I hope I haven't triggered anybody. I triggered my damn self. So I I hope I haven't triggered anybody. And I guarantee that Trish has already copied that link and made a command in my own channel for that. That's amazing. But that's all. I'll continue on.
You haven't at all. I mean, these streams are always, that's why we have the mature filter on at the minute as well, just because we're talking about shit which is very real, and that's what happened. We're talking about real experiences, and that's why it's important just to understand that if you are thinking, oh God, take a minute for yourself, because you deserve that as well. Yes, back to Mouse.
Exactly. All right, and next up we have Saf. How do you deal with this sort of stuff just on social media in general, streaming, anything like that?
Yeah, because of my situation where I'm not really out kind of publicly outside of the internet, I haven't really had any grievances IRL as such. But on Twitter, it's a breeding ground for all kinds of just awful behavior sometimes. But if someone's genuinely approaching me and is asking a serious question and they're willing to learn, then I don't have an issue with teaching someone or educating them based on what I've experienced personally. But at the same time, I think it's worth clarifying that I also get things wrong a lot, and there's a lot of things that I personally don't know about certain things, like certain illnesses or certain identities. And I might say something, and in those situations, I would want to be educated like the way I educate other people. I'm always willing to learn if I make a mistake or if I do screw up. Like, you are more than happy to hit me on the back of the head and be like, hey, that's wrong, here's the truth, or whatever. Because I'm not perfect either, and I'll forget things, and I'm not fully educated about things, or I do tend to get things wrong. But if someone's coming to me with the intent of being malicious, then they can just get lost. I genuinely do not have the time of day to even try to educate people that are just intentionally being terrible and gross. Like, my weekend is where I spend most of my time relaxing, and I just do not have time to educate people who come with ill will. Like, the one thing as well is, if it wasn't already obvious enough by the picture I'm using, I'm part of the furry community, and as a community, we are always fighting against all kinds of injustices across the scale, from racism, Nazism, and all the other isms there is out there. And it's kind of a staple of the community as a whole that we actively fight to educate people and route out all of the people being intentionally problematic, because none of us have the time of day to deal with that. And it's better to just educate and try and make the community as much as a welcome place as possible. And yeah, that's kind of my stance on it, I guess. I just don't have the time of day to educate people being malicious.
And that's completely valid, because as Paige has said multiple times, your time is one of the most valuable things you have, and putting your time onto someone that does not want to be educated is just not worth your energy.
Yeah, like, I'm always more than welcome to educate people. Like, I don't know everything. I'm not like a Wikipedia of like being in the LGBT community. There's things I don't know, and I will happily like give you my story. I'll tell you my experiences personally, but I can't speak for someone who's ace. I can't speak for someone who's pansexual. I can't speak for those people because their experiences are different to mine. And I think when you are educating people as well, it's important to clarify that I'm giving you advice based on my experiences or what I personally know, and to say there are things I don't know, and to admit that it's all right to say I don't know certain things.
Yeah, that's completely valid. I don't think it can be expected of any of us to know absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly fine to say, I can't tell you about that because it's not my experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And last but certainly not least, we have Secret Agent Steve.
Yes, yeah. I mean, a lot of my own personal philosophies have sort of been shared through others here, but I mean, I'll sort of frame mine the best that I can, and that's that. Like it's been said, there's many different types of trolls, different types of people that intentionally or not are bad actors, and um, gauging that can be a little bit difficult. Typically, what'll happen for me in the streams that I do moderate is if it's something that's blatantly obvious that they're just there to get a rise out of somebody or just genuinely being hateful, instant ban. That's it. That's like got no time for that. And that's really uh, to protect people and make sure that they understand that it's a safe space to be here. We want people to really feel that, and that kind of extends out towards my philosophy for Twitter, which is a little bit different. Like, there's a lot of hate on Twitter, and it's really unfortunate. I try not to engage with posts that draw in people that are hateful, simply for the fact that I want to make sure that those people that I follow and that follow me aren't necessarily inadvertently exposed to that, because there are definitely people that will dive through people's profiles just to go and bother someone, and I've seen that happen before. I've had it happen to me before, and it's just not a great time. So I kind of have a philosophy of report it, and that's my only interaction, unfortunately. And it sucks. It sucks so much because you want to engage in the conversation, you want to um correct people when they're being assholes. Like that's it's a core part of who I am, but I've had to take a different path with that. um but yeah, that is where I'm at with those.
Yeah, you need to find that balance between engaging in things and also keeping the space that you have safe for everyone that's in it.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think we're going to do one more question. And I think I'm going to do one that hasn't really been talked about yet, which is, does your sexuality influence the content you create? And if it does, tell us a little bit about how. So let's start it off with Paige.
So initially I was going to say no, really, because, I mean, I'm a cisgender woman, but I'm pansexual, and up until last year I identified as bisexual, and then I made a few more trans friends. Like, I'd already had a few trans friends, but like they were already in relationships or something like that, so I didn't really think of them that way. And then I made some other trans friends, and I was like, actually no, this is fucking awesome as well. Like, cool, everyone, screw it, everyone's for me, great. And I am married to a cis straight man who I fucking love, and he is my rock. But that doesn't mean I don't appreciate other people, and it doesn't really affect, what games I play. But then I realised, hold on, wait, I put together an entire stream and, co-host a podcast series all about marginalised marginalised communities. And so, yeah, very much so. Just not in the way that I thought initially. It doesn't affect what I end up personally doing, but it affects who I want to work with and who I want to fight for and who I want to try and curate spaces for. So, yes and no. It, like, outwardly, no, it's not like I have a flag tattooed across my face like, ha ha, bow to me, everybody, I fancy you all. But, it's just, I just go, hey, I see everyone else as well, and I want to try and make sure there is room for you to come and be your best selves. So, yeah, I guess so.
No, that's awesome. And let's go on to Craig. Does it affect your content in any way?
I was also kind of in the same boat where I say that it doesn't really, as my content is mostly games. But then I also realized that if it has, let's say, lesbian relationship or other gay relationship inclusivity, then I would most likely check that game out more likely. just to see how it's being represented, just to see like what it's about, because not always it's great, the representation, and it has also provided very comedic moments in a good will, of course, because I'm one of those people that makes jokes about it all the time, and my chat has learned to make jokes, and it also creates that positive energy where we just keep laughing about it, and it becomes part of the content as well, because it's like, oh no, I know what you guys are gonna say, just keep it there. But and in another sense, it also, I just lost my train of thought because I think quicker than I speak. But but oh god, what was it? Yeah, sometimes I do go onto rants of like about video games and the inclusivity they have, what the word is, and I do go on to rants about that. So sometimes I will maybe not shut up about it for like 20 minutes straight, because there's too much evidence. There's too much evidence, and there's too much factual things that are in video games and that are also not in video games, which is also a problem. And yeah, other than that, it doesn't really influence my content. It's just more of, it's more of a discussion or a path we take.
Yeah, I can completely relate to the rants part, because when I start getting like passionate about something, I get like incrementally more Scottish. So my community will push me into that direction, and I will just rant about things for like 20, 30 minutes. Before we move on, I do just want to say we have hit over £1,100 for mermaids now.
Heck yeah.
So if you do want to donate to mermaids, you can do !donate. The link will come up in chat, and you can go donate through Tiltify.
Only £137.31 until we are halfway through the goal, and we're only just about hitting halfway through the stream. So, pretty sure we can get there.
Don't ruin the 69 cents though.
No, keep the 69 if you can, you know. Throw an extra £1 on top just to keep us there.
So moving on to the Bat Queen. Tell us.
So, sexuality influence content. So I started out very much adamant that my sexuality had nothing to do with my stream, because who I'm attracted to is none of their goddamn business, frankly. Because it's not a dating site. It's a streaming site. We play games, and I was slowly encouraged as I was going through my own sort of self-discovery to put the tag on my stream, because it was important, and it was more of a case of trying to attract the right people to create the kind of community that I wanted to create. I was trusting that the magical ether that is Twitch would somehow summon the magical community that I was after, and they would all just flock to me, and apparently that's not how Twitch works. So I ended up putting on the tag, and ever since then I've more and more got into actually making it important to talk about in my streams and being very open about it. And now we're doing the podcast, so it very much influences the content that I create now, because we do podcasts literally talking about marginalized creators and their experience and their stories and exactly their sexuality or their disabilities or any of this stuff. And it really has become a major part of my content. So it's gone from really being stubborn about it to actually being most of my content. So yeah, it really has affected it, and I think it's affected it for the better. So much for the better. And I'd advise anyone to do the same. Don't be fretting about putting it out there. Bloody well do it. Put yourself out there. Show everyone that you are a welcome space for like-minded individuals, and you will not regret it.
No, I love that. I absolutely love that. It's definitely it's part of who you are, and just showing people exactly who you are, that's what's going to bring the right people to you, I think.
Very much so.
So moving on, we have Aaron. Now, Aaron, you've already told us that your partner is part of your stream, so clearly it has influenced your content at least a little bit.
Yeah. And so, but according to this chat, my sexuality is eyebrows.
Oh,
So we've moved on from pansexuality to eyebrows. Thank you for the kind words, everybody. I live for my eyebrows. But no, in all seriousness, so I think my content ranges many platforms, and so this question is multifaceted for me because Twitch is the newest of all these things. And for me, I'm going to go back to hashtag Aaron's eyebrows. For me, it goes back to my band where, I am one of, depending on the show, 2 or 3 females on stage. I am the only I'm the only member of my band that represents LGBT at all. And so every once in a while, a lyric or two it'll get written into a song that does definitely represent LGBT, because I know that the rest of the band is just very cisgender, very male or female presenting, and that is 1,000% okay. But I have to do a lot of heavyweight lifting on the LGBT part of that, and so I will write lyrics that either like wink at LGBT or are just straight up like, just this is what it is. And so like the best example of that I have is we're working on our 4th album, and I wrote a lyric. So rewind. We were in a bar in Wisconsin a couple years ago, and one of our fans was like, "Have you guys ever written a song about unsolicited dick pics?" And I was like, "No, but I'm going to."
Yeah.
So I did. It's called K-Bye, and I wrote a line in it about the fact that no matter what your sexuality is, you've told some motherfucker at the bar that you're gay just to get them off your back. I feel like this has literally happened. Whether no matter what your sexuality is, you have told somebody of I guess it must have been the opposite gender. You know what I mean? At that point, like, stop hitting on me. I'm gay, whether you are or not. And so that like I talked to Trish a lot about that. I'm like, is this offensive? But it's like, no, this is just the sad truth. Is that no matter what your sexuality is, sometimes you have to like just throw it out there that, sorry, get the go away. I don't want this. Like, and so that's like the best example of, at least in that part of my life, is my band. When it comes to, I also have a Patreon, and I've had a Patreon for years longer than Twitch. And I literally celebrate Pride every single year. I put out specific merch and specific tier rewards for Pride every single year. So that's heavily influenced, and it has been since 2018 when I started it. And then when it came down to Twitch, this is all still very new to me in relation to a lot of streamers. I try not to like shit on the fact that people have been doing this for many years. I am on the newer end of it. My 1 year is next month. So for me, like, it's definitely, there's always rainbows on my screen. Like, it's a part of my brand, I feel like, and I put pansexual in my bio quite a long time ago. And like Dracthonia said, like, I was debating on the LGBT tag. Like, you're like, do I want to put it out there? Do I not? Like, what will it attract versus not? And I feel like since I started using it, it is more people being like, hey, I know I'm safe here and I haven't come out yet, but I am trans, or I'm starting HRT next week. Like, I get that a lot in my stream, and it makes me so incredibly happy. They almost always join my Discord because they know they're safe. They know that my community is not going to berate them or put homophobic, transphobic, enterphobic here into our community. And so it's like Twitch actually, I feel like even though Trish is literally a part of my stream, I feel like it has the least bearing. I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily that it's in the content. I think for me it's more social media and everything. My streams itself are like, yeah, my alerts are drag queens, I guess. So I guess that's pretty. I just realized that. My alerts are literally Alaska Thunderfuck and Lawrence Cheney right now. So yeah, it's a little bit drag queen relevant, but I think it depends on the day. It depends on if there's charity stuff going on. It depends on if there's awareness going on. But I definitely think that it's grown over time for me. It is that it didn't used to nearly as much, but now as I'm getting older, I feel the need to definitely represent heavily in my content for sure.
No, I completely understand that. Sorry, did you have something else you want to?
I was just gonna say on camera, I gotta pee, so I'm gonna BRB. I just didn't want to
Right.
be rude.
It's all good.
That's
You're all
all.
good.
That's all. I was done. I just have to pee so bad.
Go
So
pee,
I'll
go
be
pee.
right
It's fine.
I actually have a joke. Or it's a sad but true. It's a funny but true joke. And it's a little bit related to what Aaron was just saying about, people saying that they're gay to get rid of men or other people in bars. Now I have a 9-year-old godson who has been raised primarily by women. And the difference between my 9-year-old godson and men, not all men, is that when I say no to my 9-year-old godson, he'll stop asking me for something.
Gotta raise the kids with respect.
And it's a sad truth. Anyway.
Mouse. Sorry, Mouse. Actually, we have a question in the chat that I think I'd actually like to ask you to address. Though I will say it is a question asked genuinely. So because I know we can get a little heated on this one. But is it appropriate for an ally to use the LGBT tag on Twitch? Why or why not? And what does it stand for? Because we had this discussion last time as well.
So personally, and I know this is the same for quite a lot of LGBT streamers, we prefer you to show that you're an ally rather than tell. Because most of us, when we're using the LGBT tag, we're trying to find other streamers that are in the LGBT community to raid. And it's very, I guess, disheartening. I don't know the word that I'm trying to word. But when we're trying to find streamers to raid, if we're going through and it's all like cis straight people, it's very disheartening. That was the word, yeah. It's very disheartening to go through that much effort just to try and find someone that's part of our community to share our community with. Because there are a lot of people that do still believe that the A in the LGBTQIA plus community is for ally, and it's not. The A stands for people who are aspec, so asexual, aromantic, or agendered. The ally tag is the allies are not part of the community. They're there to help protect the community. You cannot be part of the community if you are cis straight. If you're not actually going through our struggles, it's very frustrating to have all of our energy put into trying to protect our community, and then going into someone who says they're an allies chat, but their chat is full of slurs or jokes that are quite offensive to the community. And I really do think it's allies. It's not something that you get to say you are. You don't get to declare that you're an ally. Someone from that community, like, must be the one that tells you that you are being a good ally. It's not a tag that you just get to put like, oh, I'm an ally. That's it. It's not like that. It's something that you have to constantly work at. Because you've got to be working to protect the community that you're saying you're an ally to. And that means you're putting the spotlight onto that community and not taking it for yourself. Ally is not a badge of honor to go like, oh, I'm an ally, so look at me. It's I'm an ally for this community. Look at them. They need more representation. And I'm sorry, I probably sound angry. I'm not actually angry right now. I just get really Scottish when I get passionate about things. And Scottish just sounds angry.
That's sorry. That's specifically why I wanted to give it to you. Obviously, being not outspoken. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Proudly ace and being wanting to talk about that. And I will say, I'm actually so happy somebody asked the question in the chat, and I hope that this answer helps, because I absolutely do not want anyone to feel that they've asked a question and then been like, no. It's like, no, we love that you've actually come to ask, because we've said this actually in the last 2 sections as well. Not knowing something gives you an awesome opportunity to learn, and fuck yeah, it's brilliant when people actually do and take that. Like, for the LGBT community, it's so brilliant when somebody's like, I want to be a better ally. How can I do that? And that's fantastic. It only makes you a dick if you're like, how can I be better? No, I don't want to do that. Fuck off. And then we have problems. So yes, I hope the answer was good for you, and thank you for asking. It's
That was a
much
very
appreciated.
well-rounded and precise answer for that.
I've had a lot of practice with that question. Like, a lot of practice.
It's all right. I'll be able to cite you next time.
I'm
Just
very,
clip it.
like,
Just clip it and always post it in your chats.
It's
Just
actually pretty
always.
good.
I'm very used to having to like defend my place as an asexual person, because a lot of people, even within the LGBT community, think that if you're just asexual, you don't really have a place, when you do. You absolutely have a place. And it's harder still when we have like people outside of the LGBT community trying to claim our spot and say that A is for ally. And it does get very frustrating, especially when, big media companies and stuff are still saying A is for ally. It's not.
Yeah, which is very understandable as to why some people think it is, and it's not necessarily ignorance, it's misinformation. So,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It's from companies that, no matter how often you tell them, they don't listen.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of a side question, sorry, and I know you're hosting this one, Mouse, but I'm just curious, what do you think about an ally tag? Because I know we've said that the norm should be that you should be an ally and you should be a safe space for people to go. I personally think that might be an okay thing to have at the minute, while things like Twitch specifically are quite volatile and can be a little scary if you're trying to find your place. But I am curious what other people think.
I do think an ally tag is a good middle ground. Because if you are genuinely a safe space, you might actually go to the effort of putting that tag in. But also, I am very, you don't get to choose, you don't get to decide you're an ally. That's like something that I've, especially during, because this topic came up during Black History Month as well, obviously. And you don't get to just say you're an ally and that's it, you're an ally. You've got to be actively anti racist, anti-homophobic, anti-transphobic. You know, you've got to actually be doing the work to take the load off of marginalized people. That's how you're an ally. That's how you become an ally. And if you're not doing the work and you're just saying it, honestly, in my opinion, you're trying to do it for clout. That's my personal opinion.
I
Yeah,
think it's
exactly.
very important for there also there to be one in a sense where, I mean, for example, on Twitch, you can be entertained by anyone, but you don't know where they stand, you know? And you would love to have that, even if it's just a tag, an ally tag, to know that, hey, this person actually does support you, and you're not anxiously waiting for that one time they're gonna make a slur or a remark that's actually gonna be very homophobic or something. I mean, even with allies, that does still happen. It does, but it would decrease the chance that you at least know what to expect. So, and until things on Twitch normalize in that sense, I feel like a tag is needed. Like, just in general, when it comes to social media, until people have to stop fighting for their space, everybody needs their own space to express who they are. Until we make it a norm, we need those, excuse me, stupid tags. We do. Just to
Yeah.
show where everybody stands.
Agreed. Although I will say one thing, if Twitch makes an ally tag before they make a trans tag, I will be mad.
Yes, I will say that.
Oh, yeah.
Because most of the arguments against the trans tag are, oh, but it'll incite harassment. It's like there's already an LGBTQIA plus tag. It's not inciting harassment, actually. I think it's allowing LGBT people, to actually find each other and create bonds and to actually have these discussions. But you cannot say you are looking out for somebody so much you are willing to separate them. You have to let people find their communities.
The same people that complain about like adding a trans tag are like usually the same people who are like, I support the LGB community, and they forget the T.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, then you're not an ally. Then you can get lost. You're not gonna like support everyone in this community, and you're gonna single out people and say, yeah, I support lesbian, gay, and bisexual people, but trans people don't exist or something like that. Then no, you're not an ally. Get out of here. Like that's wrong. No, out. Bye.
Yeah, I'm not going to start speaking my thoughts on the LGB situation in the UK, because I will rant for 3 hours, and that's not what you want for this. We want everyone's opinion, not just me ranting for 3 hours. But they will the UK in general is an absolute state when it comes to LGBTQIA plus rights. You know, conversion therapy is still a legal thing here, which they said over 1,000 days ago that they would get rid of, and they're still debating it.
Yeah, I know a friendly trans Twitch streamer as well, and they've been on the wait list for like getting on for the GIC clinics for like 3 years now, and they were due to get a call last week from them, and when they called, they had to call up the clinic because the clinic forgot, and then the clinic was like, "Oh, sorry about that. We'll have to reschedule in a few months' time." And it's like, you've made me wait 3 years for this day, and now you're delaying it even further. It's atrocious.
Yeah, I actually have a fun, well, it's not a fun fact. It's actually a horrifying fact. But someone did the maths, and if the gender identity clinics in the UK continue to see people at the rate that they're doing now, the wait list will become 26 years.
Yep.
Yeah, it's something that's put me off my own transition and going public with everything, so it's really bad.
Is absolutely atrocious.
Drac, quickly, would you like to chime in here about the Through Our Eyes podcast we actually recorded with Kay, deliberately talking about GIC?
And
just where they can find it.
Yes, the podcasts are recorded and they are put up on Anchor. So 1 second and I'll grab you guys a link so that you guys can catch up with it. Because yes, we did have a good talk about this with Kay a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Yes.
Dr. K.
I
Ross.
will look for it.
Yeah. Dr. K. Ross is a frequent collaborator of mine and a fantastic friend to a lot of us. And she is a trans woman and she has transitioned and, you know, had multiple surgeries and things like this, but had to give up on GIC after waiting for years and years and years and years, and has paid somewhere like £40,000 out of pocket to transition because the UK actively is pushing back against it and doesn't allow people to be seen properly and requires so many hoops to be jumped through to allow anything to happen at all. So if you are interested in, unfortunately it's not a happy story. I mean, the ending was happy because Kay is a lot happier with who she is and is finally starting to feel that she's able to live the way she wants to, but it's come at major risk of debt and all that kind of thing to herself. But yes, we do have a podcast episode discussing that, discussing what route she took for any other trans people who are interested in that information. So we do have that. Drac, if you send it to Osric or just me, and I'll pop it in there as well. Sorry to jump in there, but I just realised that we've had, you know, somebody with lived experience actually discuss this entire situation and the costs involved, which are fucking astronomical.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, I think it's important that, yeah, it's not a nice story, but it's important that we still tell them, because there are people out there who don't realize just how bad it actually is, and people who do call themselves an ally, like, may not know this, and it's important to just tell our stories, and that's why we're here on this, like, stream today, is we're here to tell you what it's like. We're here to give you, like, advice or knowledge or other stuff. Just, it's not all sunshines and roses, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's the important thing, isn't it?
That,
just
it's
giving a
unfortunate.
voice.
Go ahead, Drac. You can.
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying that, you know, that's the important thing, is giving a voice to things and using your channel and your space to speak out where others may not have the opportunity or the audience or the spoons to do so.
I will say as well, though, just it's not really a silver lining when there's so much other crap going on, but a very, very tiny sliver of hope in the UK as well actually was announced yesterday, and I found it out through Mermaids, who we are supporting today, which is brilliant because it's so good because they're a font for, you know, news and things as well that, you know, the BBC won't cover. But the High Courts in the UK have ruled that most youths will now not need to go to court to access puberty blockers. This is something that was stopped for most under 18s because they were trying to say essentially that it was child abuse and that a child can't know these things. But it has now been ruled that if a doctor, a parent, and a child have all consented, what else can a judge who doesn't know shit about this exact situation do? Essentially, they can't. And so families have actually been able to say they had already consented, and obviously it doesn't help kids who maybe can't tell their parents or maybe don't have understanding parents. There's still work to be done there, but luckily for kids at the minute whose parents are supportive, it looks like they're going to be able to access their medications and actually continue getting help, which is incredible because it's taken a lot of people making a lot of noise to get it through this kind of barbaric government we have at the minute. But it's progress, and it's the youth deserve better, and it's nice to see that there's a little something there for them.
Yeah, I actually hadn't heard that, so I'm happy to have heard that.
Yes.
I think, you know, we've been talking about how important it is to share our truths, even if they're not all sunshine and daisies. But one thing I do want to say that I think is, you know, a very important part of that is we need those with privilege to share our stories as well. Because one thing I think a lot of us can see is that we have communities that are very diverse, but marginalized creators do not get seen as much as, you know, the norm. And one thing that we need is more people with that privilege shouting about these issues.
We need more people with big platforms to stand up for what they say they believe in. Don't be performative. And I've seen comments, you know, from people saying, "Oh, you know, but my community." It's like, if your community is full of transphobes and homophobes, do you really want them? Do you want to allow? Because if your community is a reflection of you, do you really want to see that when you look in the mirror? Is that what you are allowing to be in your area? You can't change people, but if you say you stand for something, stand for it.
Yeah, exactly. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. Being in my life, my community, and the same for everyone here, being in their lives, in their communities, that's a privilege. And that privilege can be taken away.
So, Mouse, do we have another question? Because we do have a bit more time. Do we have another question from the list we want to go through?
Yeah, do we want to go through, since I've literally just been talking about it, does anyone want to chime in on how you uplift other marginalized voices and moderate and manage your community effectively, since we've just been talking about that topic?
I can chime in with a short bit if you want.
Yeah.
I try my best to speak up on things like where I can. My main platform is over on Twitter. I don't use Twitch as much. I'm kind of on and off it, but I try to retweet and share content to kind of uplift other groups where I can. And like at this point in time, I have almost 9,000 followers, and that's a big number of people following me. Like it doesn't seem like much compared to others, but that's a big number. And I just feel like you are 5,000%. You should be and are responsible for the community that you shepherd and raise. It should be your job to speak out against transphobia and homophobia and all the other phobia, whatever. Like, if you have any kind of following, you are responsible for your community. And there are those people out there like, oh, my people, they can do what they want. They have their own opinions. Like, I see it all the time, day in, day out, where someone will say something and stick it on someone else. Like they'll say something stupid, and then all of their followers will go off and brigade them, and it's just not a nice sight. And then those people will go, "Oh, it's not my responsibility." Well, it's like it is. You have this community that you're letting run rampant, and if you don't care for them and you don't educate them, then what's the point? Your job should be to make sure that it's a welcoming environment for everyone. It's ridiculous, honestly. You are responsible for your followers. Small, medium, large, doesn't matter. You are responsible for them. You need to educate them, tell them the truth, give them the facts, and just yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, you curate the community that you have around you. And like Paige said earlier, you know, flies are attracted to shit. So if you're putting that out there, you're not going to end up with much, just a bunch of flies.
That's actually really good.
Anyone else want to chime in on this topic? Steve, we haven't heard from you.
Yeah,
want to chime
absolutely. No, for sure. I think that the best way that I can do this is, I mean, like, so speaking on privilege, um, I'm incredibly privileged. I am a straight presenting cis white male. I embody privilege in this community, and so I like where I can, I do what I can to speak out. Just like I with that, whether that be retweeting those voices in marginalized communities, or one of the things that I really try my best to do, because it's not been something that I've had to acknowledge my entire life, unfortunately, is making space for marginalized people. Um, And so it's I don't know, like making sure that I'm not taking up the airwaves, you know, with what I'm trying to say or what I have to say. And with that note, I'll end it there.
No, I think that's completely fair. As we said earlier, those with privilege, like it's important to use it to uplift those who don't have that privilege. Does anyone else want to chime in on this topic?
I
can
will, if that's
chime-
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of going to what Steve was just saying about the privilege, other than being male, I also kind of embody the picture of cisgender, female presenting white privilege, unfortunately. And it's like, I kind of hate having to, no, let me rephrase this. I I also have to put myself in a position to where it's like I can't always be like me. These are my problems. Look at pansexuals. Look at endometriosis sufferers, and the list goes on. And so only in the last couple of years, and I think the first BLM movement when Obama was in office here in the States was probably when I started to figure it out. And unfortunately for me, that was like, I guess fortunately, because I was pretty young when he took office when I was 18. And so I think anyway, either 18 or 19. And so it hadn't really occurred to me how privileged I was. And that's not great. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard to like really articulate when you think about it because you don't know until you know. Until you know somebody who's going through something and you're like, "Holy shit, I've never gone through that." And that's coming from somebody who was queer in high school and still got bullied the house down for being smart and a good singer, but I'm still at the end of the day a cisgender white girl. And I didn't realize until probably the last 5 years or so. I'm 32. Like I didn't realize how both terrible and wonderful those things are. Like Steve was saying, like you have to put yourself aside. Like and how important it is to stand up and like retweeting and doing the charity streams and really speaking out and being like, no, Black fucking lives matter or whatever you want to put in that spot. And one of the charity teams I'm a part of did a Stop Asian Hate charity event last week. And it's hard for me because March is like my endo month. And I was like, I didn't do a stream for it specifically, and it hurt my heart. And I apologized a million times to my team because I'm like, I too many things, like my brain exploding. And so it's just too many things. And they're like, listen, don't like it's okay. And I'm like, but I want to stand up. Like, but it's such a weird balance to be able to know that you're doing the right thing. And luckily, again, I'm in a position to where I was able to donate to the campaign. I literally did donate to the Stop Asian Hate campaign they were running, but it's like I can retweet it all. I can stand up and say, yes, the Underworld team is doing all these things. Please go check it out. And hopefully that those things got to people and it helped raise money and the whole list of things. But it's hard sometimes. It's hard no matter who you are, whether you are privileged or not. It's hard. Period. I don't know what else my point was. I just agree with Steve, and it's just hard to put yourself aside sometimes and realize like you have to stand up. And no matter what you're going through, somebody else is going through some other shit that you can't see. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of you just have to be secure in your own self and just know that you have to stand up when you can, and if you can't, it's okay sometimes, but we are powerful. Every single one of us on this screen, every single one of us doing this stream today that y'all are fucking doing for 10 hours, like every single one of us are so incredibly powerful in that way. Just stand up. Somebody will listen and you will help somebody. Just stand up.
There's a couple of points I'd like to make as well. Like, definitely, I understand the guilt around not being able to help at the same time. But as a creator, you've only got so much time as well. And you can't fight every battle at the same time because then there's nothing left of you left to keep fighting with. And I think the other important thing as well is to, and want to just preface it saying, like, it's not a dig or anything, but we need to make sure that we care about issues when they aren't in the headlines. That's not to say you don't, but a lot of people will go, Black Lives Matter! Oh, can I change my profile picture now? Fuck yeah. And it's like, no, that is performative. You have to, as Mal said, you have to be anti-racist, you have to be anti-transphobic. If you're gonna stand up for those things, stand up for them, not just when it makes you look cool. Stop putting fucking rainbow pictures on your profile if you're not gonna stand up to somebody being a dick to somebody else because they're gay or anything like that. If you're gonna stand for something, you have to make it part of yourself, and you can't just do it when it looks cool to do so. That shit was fine when you were in school and you were trying to learn how other people worked and how it fit in, and yeah, most people are older now that we're talking to, and most people have had lived experience, and you have to make sure that if you're gonna fight a battle, choose the right time to do it, and don't just do it when it's cool to do it. Like, it's good to do those things when there's going to be a big push, but that means you should always try and stand up for those things. The other thing I will just say, and unfortunately it's going to be a tiny bit of a downer, and I know that we do have obviously some Americans on the panel right now, but quickly going onto Twitter because my brain fog meant I realised, fuck, I never tweeted about the panel. I have just been sent an article about Arkansas, which I'm hoping I'm saying correctly. Arkansas are allegedly trying to stop trans people accessing healthcare, which they are trying to pass.
Yeah, I had a big rant about this to Troy yesterday as soon as I saw it on TikTok.
The article's just been sent to me. There is a petition going up by the ACLU. I've put it in the chat. If you are watching right now and you want to do something, obviously you're already here, which we super thank you for. And like, if you've been able to share it or donated, that is amazing. But you can literally sign up wherever you are in the world to that petition and actually put it in front of some people who can make those changes. But they are literally trying to say, if you are trans, you can die, we don't care. And we can't have that. And I know it's going to be sad for some people that some places in America maybe don't have as many... develop's not the right word, but many forward-thinking views, possibly. But that doesn't mean we can just leave people to rot in those situations. And if you come from a place of privilege and power, you need to use that to stand up for the others that don't have it. So yeah, I've put the link in the chat. If you can share it or you can sign it, awesome. Again, if any of this is triggering or dangerous to you and you need someone to speak to, you can do !I need help in the chat, and that will get you to some helplines, because obviously if somebody has just come in here and heard that and they are a trans person, that may be horrendous, and so I apologise for bringing that up without a trigger warning, but it's important to say while we're having this exact discussion right now, there's actually people that need our help this second.
Yeah,
So.
I was gonna say, like, people need to realize that this isn't a thing that only trans people can go and sign. Anyone, if you are straight, if you are gay, if you are bi, whatever, go and sign it. Like, it is important that you sign this. It isn't a thing that only trans people should go and sign against this. Everyone do it. Like, don't just sit back and think, I'll let them handle it. Do it. You have a voice, use it.
And while it's a horrible thing to think about, there's that poem that says, you know, first they came for this kind of person and, you know, and I didn't say anything. Then they came for this kind of person, I didn't say anything. And then when they came for me, there was no one left to say anything. If they're going after the trans people first because it's, you know, the current great thing to make a scapegoat out of, well, what's to say next that they're going to say, well, actually, gay people, you know, homosexuals, we can't be having that. They can't have that. And, you know, how far are people going to keep going? And that's not to just say that we need to protect trans people so that we're protected too, but if they are willing to do that to a group, part of the LGBT, there is no just LGBT as part of it, whether you like it or not, I don't care. If you are willing to let that happen to one part of the group, it will happen to the rest.
Yeah. On that topic, for anyone that doesn't know, there is a group in the UK called the LGBT Alliance.
Oh, God.
They are funded by evangelicals in America, and the entire concept of that group is to break up the LGBTQIA community. They want to turn us against each other, and we can't let that happen.
No, and you can't have LGBT without the T. And I'm pretty sure
Exactly.
everyone here stands for that as well. And Secret Agent Steve, you can say it out loud. Fuck transphobes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck transphobes.
We have got
I
mature
came here to
trans.
say one thing, and that's it. Fuck transphobes. Fuck
Done.
the super straight movement. Fuck turfs. Fuck them.
All
I mean,
together
literally
now.
don't, but you know, yeah. Sorry.
It's all right.
Um,
And then what?
so I'm just gonna real quick, just because Paula has asked in chat what the LGBTQIA plus actually stands for. It's the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and aspec. So aspec is asexual, aromantic, and agender.
Mm-hmm. And then there's lots of terms that come under each of
And
those
then,
as well.
yeah.
They're all umbrella terms.
And then the plus encompasses a lot more. You know, which is why a lot of us have started using the term alphabet mafia. Because someone tried to use it against us and we were like, fuck yeah, that's cool. We're going to stay with it.
It's almost like
you don't know what I'm talking about? Go on TikTok.
All right. Stop being so down with the kids. We can't have that. We're all too old. All right. So we've got actually another 15 minutes or so of this panel. So do we have another quick fire question we want to go through?
Does anyone want to give any advice for anyone that's just starting on their journey of self-discovery and acceptance? Anything you wish someone had told you when you were first questioning yourself?
Since
Don't trust
nobody
your
said
surroundings.
anything. Oh, you can go ahead, Craig. Go ahead.
No, just don't trust your surroundings if it makes you feel bad. Don't trust it. Just because it makes you feel bad doesn't mean that you're in the wrong. And like that is something that I wish I discovered before I was in my early 20s. So in the early 20s I realized, well, I guess that it was not what it was supposed to be. And don't be afraid to go outside of your immediate surrounding. Whatever it is, look up somebody on the LGBT tag on Twitch or anywhere else where you can find the community. Whether it's there, start finding comfort there. Inspiration, maybe. Because there's so many stories you can read, so many stories you can watch and listen to, that it's gonna inspire you in a way that no friend possibly could. Because if you're surrounded immediately by somebody who's not from the community, they can say, yes, like, it's cool, I accept you and everything, but it's not, it doesn't give you the path. It doesn't give you the path options, you know? And I feel like people should not be afraid to just to go into the rabbit hole and find places to explore. Because it's really important. And once you see those places, that's when you actually find out who you are. Because you always, like, without it, you feel insecure and all of that. But it feels like the community has so much to offer that you can find anything, anything there.
That's super well put.
Yeah, that's
Really
well
put.
said.
Actually, what I was going to say, I'm really glad that Cray said that before. What I was going to say was because it's a great piggyback, which is that don't be afraid to learn. So it's a little bit early. Well, now it's not very early in the States anymore, but this stream started before I was awake. But as soon as I woke up at 10, I started tuning in, and I have already learned things today that I didn't know before I tuned in. And if you're afraid to learn about yourself, you need to stop. You need to let that go. You need to be honest with yourself and be unapologetic. And if you're feeling some sort of way, talk it out. Like me and Trish have had this conversation a couple times where I know that I'm partially ace and I still don't know how to articulate that. And because I haven't found a pattern for my own self. So it's like, I am still trying to figure this out. Like, I'm in my 30s now. This is old shit, you know? And if you're afraid to learn about yourself, just you got to bring that wall down. You got to be honest with yourself. And that goes to say what Cray was saying, is that if the people around you are making you feel bad about that, you got to go find some people, and Twitch is a great way to find your people. Find your home in some streams, and just don't be afraid to learn about yourself. We're all still learning. If I'm not still learning when I'm like 70, I'll be sad, I suppose. I'm still learning. 2 hours ago, I had never heard the term ace flex before, or flux. See, I'm fucking it up. Is it flex or flux?
Flux.
Flux with a U. So
Well,
I
you
had
can do
never heard
either.
that before. What was that?
You can do either. Some people
Oh.
say ace flux, some people say ace flex.
Okay, maybe that's where I got it from. But I had literally never heard anybody talk about that before that person was talking about it earlier today. And so I'm like, wow, maybe I actually like have maybe that's a part of my sexuality that I didn't know about. And it's okay, like, to keep learning. And that's my advice, is don't be afraid to keep learning.
Yeah, no, that's 100% fantastic advice. I want to, Jack, you want to say?
Oh yeah, I was wanting to add some
Oh, go
things
ahead.
onto what was being said. Well, two pieces of advice. One, just because people are your family doesn't mean that they have the right to disagree with how you are and make you feel bad about what you're feeling. If they don't accept you for who you are, go find your family that will.
The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. People often shorten that to make it fit an agenda. Wonder why.
I wonder why.
Second, kind of goes in the same spiel. Some people in the LGBTQIA community aren't as nice as this lovely lot. And during my experience, I was very much put off from ever reaching out to the community because of my experience. And I want you to know that just because one lot of people are bastards doesn't mean that the rest are bastards. So keep searching, because there are the right people out there. Just because someone's LGBTQIA doesn't mean that they are the right people for you.
Well said.
Also, sorry, on that note, I've also been told that I don't belong in the community.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah,
So much.
as a cisgendered lesbian, apparently that's not enough to be part of it. So there's literal gatekeeping, and those are
Yeah.
people you're gonna come across when you're looking for a place. When you're looking where to inspire yourself, you'll find those people. But
Yeah.
it's like assholes are everywhere.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
unfortunately.
It's
But
like
yeah, my exact experience as well. Being
Yeah.
bi-pan wasn't enough. I had to pick a side.
Yeah.
Yeah, been there. Because see, I grew up in the time where being bisexual wasn't a real thing.
Yeah.
So anytime you told someone that, they were like, "That's not a real thing." But one thing I would like to say is, if you feel like there is something wrong with you, there is not. And I need to put emphasis on that, because I grew up thinking that there was something wrong with me, and I didn't realize until much later in life that I was just asexual, and that's okay, and oh boy, did I have a ride, because you see, trying to figure out your sexuality when you're also on the ace spectrum, and you're trying to figure out if you're actually attracted to someone, or if you just think that they're pretty, or you like them, it's very difficult. I'm just like, and it took me a long time to figure myself out, and that's still changing. It's only been very recently that I've kind of come to terms with the fact that I am probably I'm gender fluid, non-binary leaning, and that's been a very recent revelation for me, and it's okay to change as you grow and as you discover more about yourself. It's not something that you don't have to put yourself in a box and stay in that box. Everything is a spectrum. You can fit anywhere on that spectrum you want, and it can change as you want. You know, as you learn more about yourself, as you discover more about yourself, labels are a tool. You do not have to fit a specific label. If a label helps you feel more comfortable with yourself, that's great. If that label changes, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with changing your labels. And last but not least, if you do not want to use labels at all, you do not have to. It's a tool that's there for you to use to help yourself. If it's not helping you, or if it's making you feel worse, you don't need to use it. And you're still valid.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you are who you are. Don't let anyone change that. Be who you want to be.
Absolutely. I had one sort of final thought, and that about the question, and that is that it ties into a lot of what has been said, and a lot of what I was going to say has been said, and I love that. I think that that's really great. But I said before, I came out when I was 27 to my parents. I'd maybe come out to 2 or 3 other people in my life before that. But it's never too late. You know, it's okay if it takes time, and it's okay if you have decided that maybe you're never going to come out to some people because they're just that hateful. And then also tying in to to labels. You know, yeah, if something doesn't serve you in life, then maybe it's time to do away with it, and that's totally awesome. So I appreciate you for saying that.
I think the only thing I'd really like to add to it as well is that you don't have to have suffered to be part of the LGBT as well. There's a lot of us that, you know, we say we're privileged, like, you know, this person didn't hate us when we came out. God, that means that my experience is worth less. It's like, no, you had a good experience. That's a wonderful thing to celebrate. Like, I'm hopefully my mum is okay with me saying this, but I'm pretty sure she told me she was bi before I told her I was bi. And now Pan. Whoops, sorry, mum, if I wasn't meant to say that. But I was very privileged to have a very accepting family on most things, and so I don't think I've ever actually come out. It was just kind of assumed, you know, it was just kind of there. But you don't have to have had a horrible amount of trauma to be valid in the LGBT community. And if you have had that trauma and that horrible experience, I'm really sorry. And there will be a family waiting for you. You just have to find your people. Everyone is valid no matter the experience they have had. And I think for those who feel bad that they haven't had to go through trauma, I think it's more of a reframing to be like, awesome, I haven't had to go through trauma. Maybe that means I have a little bit more spoon to help people who have. And it at the same time, just you don't have to hate yourself for something good to happen.
If I may interrupt there.
Go on, Gray.
If nothing bad has ever happened to you, that is what the rest of us are fighting for.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what everybody's fighting for since decades ago.
And nobody
for somebody to have a fully positive experience.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody who's had the time to think about it and process their own feelings, who is part of the LGBT, is going to be mad that you didn't have the shitty experience they had. They're going to, like, if I had a bad experience and someone said, oh, my mum was actually really accepting, I'll be like, yeah! Like, so many of us have gone through so much shit that's what we wanted. You're happy. Oh, amazing. Like, Brill, how can we help that continue? So you've got to learn to love yourself, and you are valid no matter what your experience has been. If you say you are LGBT, then you are. Nobody can take that away from you, because nobody else knows your mind better than you do.
And to add to that as well,
place to go.
Just to add to that as well, found family is just as important, if not more important at times, than blood relation. Your found family, that's your people. That's the people you choose to have in your life. And they're definitely just as, if not more important than your blood family. If your blood family don't accept you, your found family will. You know? And, you know, just pushing it again, Twitch is a fantastic place to find that family. You know, if I hadn't started streaming on Twitch, I would have never found my best friend in the whole fucking world. And it doesn't matter that he lives on the other side of the world, you know? That's my found family. And they're going to accept you even if your blood relations don't. Blood does not mean you have to keep them in your life. It's still a privilege for them to be in your life.
And again, if that is a situation you're going through, please do, whether it is a friend or whether you have to do it anonymously, do reach out to somebody for help. There are, unfortunately, and heavy trigger warning for the last couple of minutes of this section, I'm very sorry, and for everyone in chat and everyone on the panel, just so you are aware, if you need to step away for a second, do. Unfortunately, there is a lot of suicide and self-harm in the LGBT community because not everyone does get to hear these kinds of conversations or know that somebody else is out there. And if you do ever feel like you cannot manage or that there's no one there who will listen and that you can't talk to somebody about this kind of thing, there are always anonymous services you can use. Somebody on the end who somebody working for one of those services has to go through a lot of training, and they are usually very good people. They will be there for you if you can reach out. Even just a fingertip for somebody to reach out and hold on to, somebody will be there for you. And it's a really scary time. But if you can't reach out to somebody personally, make sure you have somewhere to go. Because the world's a better place with you in it, no matter what struggles you have, or will face.
I think it's important for people like us here today that, yeah, we can share our experiences with you, but we're not assuming that we're therapists. We're not qualified to give you medical advice or stuff like that, but the least we can do is point you in the right direction. That's really important.
Yes.
Inspire somebody. Inspire to keep grinding, keep going, keep looking.
Yeah. And for anyone that is struggling, if you're in Paige's chat right now, you can do !, I need help. And she has checkpoint.org there. They're wonderful. They have resources for everywhere in the world. So wherever you are, you will find someone.
Yeah, and they're free services as well. They're not, they're not like you need to book a service with a therapist or that's not the word I meant, appointment service. That you don't have to book an appointment with somebody and then wait for 10 weeks for somebody to get back to you. No, they are, I need help right this second. And you will find either a phone call, a text, an email, a face-to-face. There will be a service there that should work for you, and if not, they probably have links, I believe, that will point you towards other services in your area. Even if you come from a country where these things aren't necessarily discussed or are frowned upon, I believe there are at least helplines for every single country that you can anonymously get in touch with if that's something which could be a danger for you. There will be some way you can reach out and get some help.
Can I just say that I really appreciate the emphasis on this within this group? Honestly, one of the streamers that I moderate for had a situation in which she was put in charge of somebody's mental state when they were in crisis, and it's not okay. Like, and it's okay to be in crisis that these things happen, but you have to understand that just because somebody's in the public eye does not mean that they're equipped to help you handle your stuff. So I really appreciate all this discourse.
Awesome. And yeah, if anyone does want to take that link and use it for their own streams or share it on Twitter or anything, you're more than welcome. I don't own it. I just wrote the copy. It's fine. So
yeah, I already stole it.
How dare you, mouse? I will be charging you. Honestly, no.
Also, as streamers, you often feel like you are responsible for everyone's mental health in your chat, especially if you're mental health advocating. You can only do so much. You are not there to be their personal therapist. You have to set boundaries. You have to put boundaries in place, and you need to look after your own mental health too, because streaming is not easy. and having everyone's mental health on you as well, probably at the same time, it's just not, it's not possible. It's not long term going to be good for you. Speaking from experience.
Yes.
Yeah, can 100% agree with that. Being there, it's not healthy for us to be put in that position. And the best thing that we can do is refer you to someone that is equipped to deal with it.
Yeah, for both your safety and ours. Because we don't want to take on your trauma and then end up having a crisis of our own. That means, as we said earlier, you can't pour from an empty cup. If we have nothing left to give, we don't want to hurt somebody in crisis or just be like, we don't have time for you. It's like, no, that's never what's intended and that's never what's meant. But if we give away everything of ourselves trying to help others, there's nothing left. And that's going to lead to worse situations. The best thing we can do is kindly say, no, you need proper help. Not me thinking, not me going, oh, well, in my experience, I've done. It's like, no, you need actual intervention. You need assistance. So that's why we have to say no and send you to somebody who is equipped and who can both legally and medically help you if required. Because we especially when it's international as well, like, if somebody in America's like, I'm in this crisis, I'm like, geez, there's a 7-hour time difference. I don't know where you live. What am I meant to do now? Like, I mean, I've had that situation once, and it was a frantic scrabble to actually find a local PD that we knew nothing about. Like, so try and understand we're not rejecting you. We're trying to put you towards the best course of action. That's the only thing we can do. Otherwise, it's detrimental to you. It's a disservice to you and who you are to try and pretend we can make it better. Right.
Yeah, and sometimes we forget that the person we're talking to might be in the same space that they are in right now as well. We sometimes forget to think about what kind of position we put other people in. And I think it's really important to, but that by no means to never reach out. But it means on what platform or what means are you actually reaching out, and how are you reaching out? Is this really the best way for you and for the other person?
Awesome. Right, so I'm afraid we've actually come to the end of our section because we do have the next group waiting in the wings. And I realised it was a fairly heavy ending point there, but thank you everyone for your time and your experiences and for sharing. And I hope everyone's feeling okay. And that if you do need to go and have a lay down or a glass of water or a stretch afterwards, you go and do that and you look after yourselves as well. But does
I feel
anyone
like
have...
it's almost therapy for me a little bit, to be honest. Feel like I've just done 2 hours of therapy.
Hey,
Yeah.
glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Does anyone have any final thoughts they'd like to share? I mean, we can just work along top through to bottom as well. So, Cray, if you have anything you'd like to say.
No, I'm just happy to be part of this merry group of people. Even with heavy topics, I believe they're part of our lives, and that's what makes our lives merrier, accepting that we have these things and going through those together and helping each other. Because, I mean, most people that I meet that talk about these things are an inspiration to me. And I think that's important, to inspire each other and
Awesome.
be
Well,
kind to one another.
Thank you very much, Cray. And thank you, and especially for your perspective as well, because to be honest, and like Saf said earlier, like, I hadn't necessarily thought, what about people who've come from countries where this could actually be a danger to them, or where they can't reach out for fear of retribution? Like, it's something I knew about, but something I didn't actually think to incorporate in this chat. So thank you for opening my eyes to that as well and sharing your experience. So yeah, thank you very much. Jack, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Thanks for having me on again. Check out the podcast. And as we often say in the podcast, be your own advocate. Make sure to be your own advocate. It's the most important thing we can tell you.
Yep. Stand up for yourself, know yourself, and be willing to fight for yourself, because you are worth it and you are valid, and we are all happy you are still here no matter what you've gone through. Thank you, Drac. What about you, Erin?
Thank you for having me and my eyebrows. I'm glad you tweeted at me. You DM'd me.
I'm so happy to have seen the
And
beauty.
oh, thank you. Uh, and also I have been looking into doing my own chats just like this, and shameless as fuck right now. I have one of my own tomorrow, and watching you guys put this on today on this such a grand scale is honestly so educational on top of the content today. So thank you for putting this on. I can only imagine the amount of amazing good that is going to come from this stream. I know you guys have done this before. I can't wait to either be a part of in the future again, hopefully, and or watch them in the future. I just want to say thank you.
You're
Thank
more
you.
than welcome.
All the education.
If you do need any information in terms of block terms, moderation terms, ways to set up any kind of protections, because I'm sure you already have a bunch, but I did manually
Yeah.
block 168 terms or something like that, and I have that list for other streamers ready to go. So if you want that, I can send it to you after the stream so you have it for tomorrow.
Yeah, I might DM you on that. I'm not gonna lie. Thank
Not
you.
a problem. Not a problem. That's why I made it. Mouse,
you.
I know I've kind of taken over, but I know this is where you leave us for today, my darling. So any final words
It
from you?
is. I just want to say thank you for having me on as your co-host today. And to anyone out there that is feeling lost or like they don't have anywhere to belong, you're not alone. And we talk about these situations a lot on stream. If you ever do need someone to talk to just to understand your experience, my little cult community, as we call it, because we're not a cult, but like we look like a cult, would be lucky to have you sharing it with us. And yeah, we're always learning, we're always figuring out new things about ourselves. So keep learning, keep that journey of self-discovery. Don't stop it ever. Just keep thinking like about who you are and who you want to be. Make sure you're being anti-racist, anti-homophobic, anti-transphobic, anti-sexism, everything. And yeah, make sure you worship Buttspot, who's our Lord and Savior.
Fantastic. And Mouse, the chat has already been saying what I'm thinking, and thank you so much for offering to be my co-host, because I've obviously needed it with some of the weird fucking tech issues and all that, and for allowing me to take a break and take medication, and not to make you cry or anything, but I think your friend would be incredibly fucking proud of the work you've been doing and everything in their name, and keeping them alive in your memory all this time, and being an ally, an active ally, to ensure other people don't have to go through the same thing. And thank you for sharing that story with us, because I know it must hurt.
I'm gonna try not to cry as we end here.
I know.
But thank you to you and everyone in chat just for the kind words and stuff.
Make sure you go have a proper lay down and a rest with Kitties afterwards, and Chinchilla.
Oh, definitely.
And Chinchilla. Saf, my darling, anything from you? Any final words?
Thanks for having me on again. Honestly, I really enjoy doing these because I get to learn from so many other people and their experiences, and it's genuinely just a fantastic time. Like, seriously, thank you so much for doing these. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add that anyone else has said even like better than I ever could. But the only thing I can offer really is that I run a group currently it's for Elite Dangerous called White Tip Ops. It's an LGBT plus group. It's just a place for everyone to come together and hang out. Someone in the chat, I can't remember what their name was. It was the Impossible Face. They run it alongside me. Yeah, so if you play Elite Dangerous and want to join that and have like other people to play with, you can find that on Twitter. It's just at White Tip Ops. Currently thinking about expanding it out a bit more into like other games, so it just becomes a general safe space for LGBT folk to come. But just keep an eye on that, I guess.
That's super cool. So yeah, if you do play Elite Dangerous and you want to look out for some more people who you can vibe with and play games with, then yeah, definitely check out White Tip Ops, because even when I worked at Frontier, they were a group that I worked to help promote and that kind of thing on the streams. So been aware for a while.
and I appreciate you for that.
You're more than welcome, my darling. You're more than welcome. And last but absolutely not Steve. Absolutely not Steve. Brain, where did you go? Hold on. Last but absolutely not Steve, the man with the golden voice. Hello, Steve. Do you have any
Hello.
final words?
I do. It's super funny that you said, but not Steve, because that's typically what I get asked when I jump into a Twitch chat is that your real name, Steve? And I say, can't confirm or deny that. So, anyways, I had a. Oh yeah, right. Okay. Everything that I wanted to say has been said, but there was one thing, and that is that Paige has taken a lot of time to really carefully plan out these streams, and it's really amazing seeing the back end of everything that goes together, and that includes like putting the groupings of the people on the panel together. And I think she just did such a fantastic job just finding people that really worked well together, and it's been a pleasure to meet all of you, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure, and I really, as I say, your time, you don't get it back. So choosing to spend it here with, with me and all the background stuff and everything that you've come and shared, I am incredibly thankful for. So thank you all as well. It means a lot. It really does. Right. So I'm afraid we're going to have to get going so we can get the next group in. For anyone in the chat, I have been asked to sing a song while we're in the BRB section, because I am also a singer, and I will serenade you with a little bit of Into the West while we BRB and get the next group set up. But thank you everyone for your time, and we will see you in the next section. Bye-bye!
Later.
Hello, it's me again. You cannot see me, but you can hear me. We're going to have a quick look at the donations and see what we're on there. And then while I get the next group set up, I will sing you a song as channel points have been redeemed. And I will shamelessly say, if anyone does enjoy my singing of a song, you are welcome to donate more money and I will sing more songs as we go. We are at £1,205. All right, so, okay. Here, I don't know why I'm nervous now. I sing all the fucking time. Right, and while we get this next bit sorted. Lay down your sweet and weary head. Night is calling. You have come to journey's end. Sleep now and dream of the ones who came before. They are calling from across a distant shore. Why do you weep? What are these tears upon your face? Soon you will see. All of your fears will pass away, safe in my arms. You're only sleeping. What can you see on the horizon? Why do the white gulls call? across the sea, a pale moon rises. The ships have come to carry you home, and all will turn to silver glass.